We just passed the halfway year mark in our homeschool a couple weeks ago. Crazy. So let's chat all things homeschooling today. Curriculum, routines, extracurriculars, all the things homeschool are going. Last week I shared with you a little kind of more personal note on how things kind of have been going, some struggles I've been going through, and kind of what our focus is for this calendar year. I will link that in the description below if you missed that one. But today I wanted to just chat with you about homeschooling and how all of the things are going here at our house. I would also love to hear from you how things are going in your homeschool, so please comment below with a little update on how things are going for you. So let's start with our normal kind of daily routine. If you've been following my channel for a little while, you know that we kind of had a bumpy start to our homeschool year. Things were a little bit crazy at the beginning of the year with a late harvest season. And so it took us quite a while to finally level out and get into our groove and our flow of things. And now I'm happy to say that halfway through the homeschool year, things are going really well on our normal, just kind of daily routine front. I did kind of a day in the life video of a normal homeschool day here on my channel about a month or two ago. I will link that in the description below if you missed that one and you're curious what a normal daily routine looks like around here. We have 4 kids if we are just meeting ages 6 to 14, so we are in through early elementary all the way up till almost high school. My oldest will be in high school next year, which is crazy. I don't know how that has happened, but here we are. It always seems like it takes a while to get into that groove of things, so don't feel bad if it has taken you a while to get into your flow and finding something that works well for you. That is a very normal process that goes along with homeschooling. So right now, things are actually feeling really good. We are in a good place. I'm happy with how things are going. Part of, I think, what has helped us to get into a little bit more comfortable routine and flow to our day has been the binder system that I set up for our homeschool earlier on this year. And I know a lot of you have been anxiously waiting my video about our binder system, and that will be coming out for you next week. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're curious about how that works. Make sure you don't miss that video. But our binder system in a nutshell is just kind of a daily checklist for our kids, or weekly checklist, I guess. Is more like it, for them to know what they need to be doing each day. And that is really helping them to be a little bit more independent led in their homeschool. So that has been an awesome add to our homeschool year this year. As far as curriculum goes, we actually aren't using a whole lot of curriculum this year. We have kind of reverted a little bit back to how I did things when my oldest was in elementary school, and been a little bit more free and kind of tailor making our education based on things that we want to learn about a little bit more. Not quite unschooling. I wouldn't say we are unschoolers. I would categorize us more as a Charlotte Mason inspired, interest led homeschool, eclectic style. If that makes sense at all. We started out the year loosely using a Gentle Feast curriculum, which is a Charlotte Mason style curriculum, and I loved that for this idea of trying to transition a little bit more to that Charlotte Mason style approach to homeschooling, but I wasn't really confident on how much our kids needed to be reading each day, what some good books would be for the topics that they needed to be doing. I wanted to make sure we had all our bases covered. And so this has been a great curriculum to kind of get the ball rolling and help me get into a groove of doing that. And we have still kind of been following a handful of the subjects within that curriculum, but we have made a few changes with some of the books that we're using, and we definitely have not done all of the subjects that she plans out for you in the curriculum. While all of those things are amazing, and I love this idea of having this feast of education with all these different subjects, it started feeling a little bit like we had too many plates juggling in the air, and so we've minimized our homeschooling a little bit and really just tried to focus on the core main basic components, so that we can place a little bit more emphasis on things like Bible and relationship and making sure we're spending time on music and different things like that. So I have actually kind of been toying with the idea of making up some more of our own quasi-unit study lesson plans for our homeschool. either for us or to share with you guys. I definitely am sold on the Charlotte Mason style of education and reading classics and just really great literature to get a really well-rounded education, really learning from the greats who have gone before and modeling our homeschool kind of around those types of things. And so I am trying to figure out how things are going to work for us next year as my oldest is going into high school in particular. I want to stick with that Charlotte Mason style and not revert back to a textbook style approach like a lot of homeschoolers do once their kids hit high school. So I am learning and working through how all of that's going to work for us. So again, stay tuned for how that goes if you want to follow along on this crazy journey. I know it's going to be great. I'm super excited about it. Anyway, for language arts, we are still using the Gentle Feast language arts packets for all of my kids, and that has been going really well. I have added back in All About Spelling for my dyslexic son. I was going to try just using the Gentle Feast approach for spelling, but I felt like he needed a little bit more instruction as far as that goes. So we are back to doing spelling using All About Spelling 3 times a week with him. And then he's still doing the grammar and the reading assignments and that kind of stuff within the language arts packets. I have also started doing twice a week with my, let's see, what are they, 4th grade and 6th grader. We have been doing free writes twice a week where they sit down for 15 minutes. I just have like a composition notebook for each of them. We set a timer and they write whatever they want to write about for 15 minutes twice a week. And then we read through those things and kind of talk about their grammar and punctuation, capitalization, spelling, all of those kind of things. So that is something we have kind of added on top of the language arts packet, as well as on Fridays, I do have them do a written narration where they go and write about something that they have learned about either in science or history for that week. So that's how we're kind of approaching some of our writing component in our homeschool. My oldest is actually working on writing a book about the American Revolution. So he works on that on his own, probably at least 2 hours a day, just self-motivated. And so I'm not as concerned about him with writing. I don't have like a formal curriculum per se that I'm using for him. I'm letting him just kind of go with what he's working on, and then I sit down with him occasionally and talk through what he's been working on and how it's all coming together and that kind of thing. But he's an excellent writer, so I'm not concerned about him at all at this point. And I love the idea of letting him kind of direct that component to his education a little bit more as he's moving on into high school this coming fall. We are going to be making some changes with math. I just ordered some new curriculum. My oldest has been using teaching textbooks. He's been going through Algebra 1, but he's been having a hard time understanding a handful of the concepts that are kind of core foundational components to algebra. So we are going to be switching him, at least temporarily, to Saxon to kind of establish hopefully a better baseline understanding of the things that he needs to know to go forward into higher math. We're going to be using Nicole the math lady for some of the lectures and things like that that go along with Saxon, kind of as that component to still be able to have someone else be teaching him the concepts and then he can work out the problems. And Nicole the math lady has like an online grading thing that goes along with that as well. So we're going to be utilizing that for the rest of this year and just see how things go. For my 1st grader, I feel like I kind of have to talk about her separately a little bit because I feel like my older boys are kind of on this different level and she's still learning how to read. So she's definitely one that I need to have a little bit more one-on-one interaction with and a lot more input with. We have these just like little beginner reader books that she's been going through. So we are just kind of working on her reading skills, starting to work on some sight words and that kind of stuff as far as her language arts goes for the most part. That's kind of what we're doing. And then she does a page in her handwriting notebook. She's using The Good and the Beautiful's handwriting 1. And then we are also using The Good and the Beautiful for math this year. She's using Math 1. And so far we have been enjoying that curriculum. I love how it's laid out, all of the features and the little manipulatives they have and that kind of stuff. We have not necessarily been keeping up with what you're supposed to do in math. In the earlier ages, I'm really big on not forcing things and not pushing things before kids are ready. And I feel like the math lessons in The Good and the Beautiful's math are a little bit long. I definitely see when we are sitting down together that she gets really tired mentally while we're working on it. She loses interest and that kind of stuff after a certain amount of time. So we generally will sit down and we'll work through as much of a lesson as we can. If we can complete a whole one, that's great. If not, I kind of read her signals and I can tell when she is just kind of like getting frustrated and overwhelmed with it. And then we put it away and stop and then pick it up the next time when it's time to do math again. So I don't think we will finish that by the end of the school year, and I'm totally okay with that. I'm definitely more concerned about her enjoying the process of learning and looking for that progression of growth in her as well as my other kids, more so than I am concerned about just checking off those boxes and making sure we get through a full curriculum in the year. That's just kind of how we roll here in our homeschool. As far as extracurriculars go, we started off the year trying to organize a nature group that met once a week, where a couple times a month we were going to go on hikes, and then another couple times a month we were going to be working on some survival skills as a group. And we met for about 3 or 4 times, I think, and then it just kind of fell off the bandwagon. Everybody started getting sick and it was hard to organize everybody meeting up. And where we live, it's very cold and windy in the winter, so it's kind of miserable to be outside. So we've kind of put the brakes on that, and hopefully we'll pick that back up again in the spring once it warms up a little bit and we can start getting back outside more again. Our oldest 2 boys have been doing a speech and debate class that meets once a week with a group of middle school and high school kids. It's taught by a friend of mine who's a former high school teacher that now homeschools her kids, and that has been fantastic. We had it split into 2 semesters, so the first half of the year was focused on learning the fundamentals of speech, and then they had to present speeches every other week to the classroom and get graded by peers as well as the teacher on their presentation. So they learned a lot about public speaking and how to engage the audience and all of those kind of things. And now they have transitioned into debate a couple of weeks ago, and my oldest in particular is loving doing debate. It is right up his alley. He wants to get into politics, so this is like perfect for him. So they have been doing that, and that has been a great fit, especially for those particular topics. I feel like that is super important. You can't really do that on your own, so it's a great class to have outside of the home for them to be able to interact with other kids and learn some of those skills in a group setting. Our 6th grader is going to be starting up wrestling this week with a wrestling club that's not part of the school system, but they do have tournaments and that kind of stuff with kids from all over the area, so he's going to be starting that up this week. So that's one of the things that he's going to be doing as kind of an extracurricular. My oldest is doing piano lessons still once a week. He's got an amazing teacher, and so that has been a great thing for him in helping develop him in another different area. I would love to hear from you. Again, drop a comment below and let me know how things are going in your homeschool. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button below, and I'll see you next time for the video all about our binder system. Thanks for watching today. Bye.